Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to this week's Corked episode. I am your host, Jim Sella, in studio with J Dash and Big Easy. We're going to talk about Justin Upton and Carlos Gomez today. Who would be better to trade for? Who can add more to your team at the deadline? And who would just be better overall long term if you get them?
Yeah, apparently both of these guys are on the block. But let's start with some recent moves. Let's update the people with some recent moves real quick. There hasn't been many. Scott Kazmir to the Houston Astros. That's probably the biggest move so far. And then Aramis Ramirez to the Pirates, probably the second biggest move. The Cardinals brought in a reliever in Steve Cishek. He was a dominant closer for the Marlins last season, but he fell apart this season. So we'll have to see how he works out for the Cardinals. He could be if they turn him into the pitcher he was last season, that is a huge addition for the Cardinals. Or if he pitches like he did this season, then they pretty much got nothing. And then Juan Uribe went to the Mets to play third base while David Wright is out. Back to the outfielders here. There's a lot of outfielders available. Jay Bruce and Marlon Byrd of the Reds, Yoenis Cespedes of the Tigers, Ben Revere of the Phillies, Carlos Gonzalez of the Rockies, Josh Reddick could possibly be available for the Athletics, Brandon Moss of the Indians. Now, Mark Trumbo of the Mariners, he's not a guy I like too much, but he's available. Andre Ethier and Carl Crawford of the Dodgers, and Melky Cabrera of the White Sox. But the two biggest outfield names out there are Justin Upton and Carlos Gomez. Now, Upton, he was traded to San Diego in the offseason, and everyone was saying this is one of, if not the best outfield in baseball. With Matt Kemp they brought in the offseason. They brought in Upton, like I said, and then Will Myers they brought in as well. Now, Myers, he looked like the best one out of them all to start the season, but he got hurt, and he's on the DL. He's been there most of the season. Matt Kemp hasn't been the player that people thought he was going to be when he came to San Diego, although he is playing a little bit better recently, and he is driving in some runs for them. But this outfield really hasn't put it together. In San Diego, everybody was talking about them as a sleeper for a World Series possibility. They are just not a good team, and they're trying to get rid of some people. I actually heard they're trying to get rid of Cashner as well. I thought that would be one guy they would want to keep. And they're just trying to get rid of everyone. Cashner, Shields, Upton. I'm sure they'd love to get rid of Kemp, but that's probably not going to happen. Craig Kimbrell, they want to get rid of. So there's a lot of guys here. But Upton,
why even go get all these guys if you're just going to dump them all at the deadline? It makes no sense.
It's that new regime, man. They came in, they really don't know what's going on. They thought, hey, bring these guys in, we could win right away. It never really works out like that for you.
But even give it a chance. It's a half a season.
I hear you. I mean, they could keep paying these guys, pay a lot of money to keep these guys around and give it another shot next season. That is a possibility. They were thinking about doing that, but it looks like they are going to try to sell and then maybe restock after the season or something. But Upton probably is the best bat available from the Padres. He's in the final year of a 6-year, $50 million deal. He's limited to a corner outfield spot. Now, if you're looking for a center fielder, there's no doubt you want Carlos Gomez over Justin Upton. But you could also play Gomez at one of the corner spots as well. But Upton, he's only hitting .248 with a .327 on base this season, although he does have 15 home runs in a very pitcher-friendly park in Petco, and he has 17 stolen bases as well. He is actually on pace to set a new career high in stolen bases. He had 21 stolen bases back in 2011. But really, he isn't hitting the doubles this season. He only has 10 doubles, where he hasn't hit less than 27 doubles in a season since 2008. So really, his bat isn't as good as it was outside of the home runs and the speed he has shown. But that could also be because he's playing in the pitcher-friendly park. So you got to give him a little bit of slack there. I mean, he leads the Padres in home runs. He leads in runs, walks, and on-base percentage. So he's still one of their best hitters. But I mean, you look, man, this guy is struggling mightily right now. In June, he hit 196 with a decent .319 on-base percentage. But just 2 home runs, 10 runs, and 9 RBIs. In July, 122 with a 178 on base, 1 home run, 4 runs, and 3 RBIs. He missed 5 games this month, but I mean, he is hitting terrible right now. He hasn't had a multi-hit game since June 27th. He has 46 Ks in his last 138 at-bats. This on-base percentage, 327, like I was saying, not that great. It's his lowest on base since his debut season back in 2007. So this guy is struggling right now. So
that's why the Mets don't want to give anything up for him.
Yeah,
I
you were
read
just saying
they don't want to give up big-time prospects and money for this guy.
And it makes sense, too. If the Padres are asking for a lot for this guy, you got to just look and be like, this guy hasn't hit over 200 over the past 2 months. Why would we give you something for him? But in the end, Upton has been a good player for a pretty long time. He's still pretty young, 28 years old, so he's still in his prime. And he's a career 272 hitter with a 352 on base, so he's a good hitter. He has 27 or more home runs 3 of the past 4 seasons. He had 17 in 2012. His career high of 31 came in 2011 with the Diamondbacks. And like I said, he's on pace to set career highs on the base pass and stolen bases as well. So he's still producing in the RBI department, the power department, and on the base pass. He's just not hitting as well as he does most seasons. But it could, like I said, it could be because he's playing in a very, very pitcher-friendly park as well. But yeah, I'm not paying a lot for this guy right now either. There's no chance. And then you got Carlos Gomez. I mean, he's not having a typical Carlos Gomez type season either. He has 1 year left after this season on a 4-year, $28 million deal. So he's definitely affordable, but this is a guy you're going to have around for 2 seasons and not just a rental like Upton. And like I said, he can play center field, left field, or right field. So,
well, who's looking for a center fielder right now, off the top of your head? Do you have any in mind? I mean...
Well, the New York Mets could look for a center fielder. I know they have a very good defender in Juan Lagares, but he has problems with his arm this season. He's not throwing the ball very well. He's doing nothing with the bat, so that's a possibility.
That wouldn't be a good fit for Gomez, New York, would it? I mean, they're why wouldn't they be interested in him?
New York?
Maybe they just want a rental.
I mean, it could be just because they want a rental. And, I mean, they just called up that Michael Conforto, so maybe he could work out for him. But, yeah, he said they were in on Upton. If it's not just because he was a rental, they're looking for a big upgrade in the outfield, and I'd rather go with Carlos Gomez right now. I mean, he's playing a little bit better at least. He's hitting 267 with a 333 on base. Still not great. Less home runs than Upton, just 8 in 270 at-bats. And his stolen bases are way down this season. 7 stolen bases. Look, he had double-digit stolen bases every season of his career. He had 111 stolen bases between 2012 and 2014. This guy had 40 stolen bases a couple years ago. So he is dangerous on the base pass most seasons. He's just not getting it done on the base pass this season. But more doubles than Upton. He strikes out way less than Upton, too. Upton has 98 Ks and 330 at-bats. Gomez just 68 and 270. Well, it's still not great or anything. Gomez is a free swinger. You see that guy swinging. His helmet's always flying off of him and everything.
Yep.
But let's not forget, he plays in a hitter's park. So those numbers could be a little bit inflated, whereas if he goes to New York, the numbers might go down a little bit, whereas if Upton went to New York, who knows, the numbers could go up a little bit. So you got to take that into consideration as well. But you look, Gomez in June hit 297 with a 333 on base. Didn't show any power, but he did miss 9 games. This month he's hitting 263 with a 400 on base, has 3 jacks, 16 RBIs already, although he did K 18 times in 57 at-bats, which is ridiculously terrible, although he took 12 walks, and this isn't a guy that takes a huge amount of walks. Look, he has 22 on a season and just already 12 this month. And this guy isn't quite as good of a hitter as Upton when they're both on top of their game. He's just a 261 career hitter with a 315 on base, but he did hit 284 over the past 2 seasons, so he's been a lot better recently. This is a guy that came on later in his career where Upton was a star right when he came in the league. But Gomez, he showed a career-high 356 on base percentage last season as well. He has 76 home runs since the start of 2012. He had no more than 8 in any season from 2007 to 2011. So like I said, he was
Roids.
Yeah, you could consider that too, but he was a late bloomer, but he has more power than he showed this season. So you could probably expect him to hit some more home runs if you dealt for him. But he's a little bit older than Upton. Like I said, he has 1 year left on his deal, although very team-friendly. So it sort of depends on what you want here. Definitely, if you want a center fielder, it's going to be Gomez. Long-term, though, like if you were going to trade for one of these guys and try to sign him to a longer deal, I would bring in Upton. But this season, if you're just trying to win, I'm going to bring in Gomez, and he's going to produce for you next season as well. It's not like you're going to bring him in and hope he's okay next season. This guy's been good for a few years now. He has power, he has speed, so he's still going to be useful long-term for you as well if you decide to sign him long-term or whatever.
So which one of these two guys is going to end up in the Yankees center field position? That's the real topic.
If you're talking center field, it got to be Gomez. Like I said, Upton's not going to be in center field.
All
but
right, well, who's going to the Yankees, Upton or Gomez?
You think one of them going to the Yankees, huh?
The Yankees are going to get anybody they can get, huh?
I'd say they'd go for Upton then. I know he's struggling right now, but if he doesn't pick it up, they don't have to re-sign him. If he does pick it up, they have all the money in the world and they can re-sign him.
You know Upton wants out of San Diego,
I'm sure he does.
He's done with it.
Well, I bet he was excited at the beginning of the season when they brought all these players in.
Then they get rid of the coach, and then now no one knows what's going on. He wants out, too.
Yeah.
He'd probably come to Pittsburgh if we gave him $3 million.
Well, if he was playing better, I'd think about Polanco and something else for him, but he's just not playing like himself, so I wouldn't even consider that right now. But if it was me, and just for the rest of the season, I'm gonna go with Carlos Gomez. He's not my favorite player, especially as a Pirates fan.
Yeah.
Not many people like Carlos Gomez.
He's got that attitude.
But look, he's hitting better right now, and he has a lot more upside in him than he showed this year, so you could expect more from him still, too. Upton, I just look at those numbers, and I just can't do it. A 122 average this month. You can't be, especially for what San Diego is going to be asking for him. They're going to be asking for some top prospects, maybe even 2 top-end prospects. So I'm not doing that. I'd give up some prospects for Gomez before Upton, for sure. Thoughts?
Basically, we went over them. Yankees are going to get one of them. Yankees are going to
bring
get
them both
somebody.
in.
Yankees are going to get someone. Boston's horrible.
Well, Yankees looking at Cole Hamels right now.
Yeah.
So there's their pitcher. I mean, they don't need much in the offensive department. With Teixeira and A-Rod, they're resurrections. I mean, they are
resurrected.
I mean, they were terrible players the past few years, man. Now
30 homers for A-Rod. He's still getting there.
I still doubt it.
Still getting there. More homers than Pedro.
That's always your argument. More homers than Pedro.
That's right. If you say he's good, then that means A-Rod's good.
I didn't say A-Rod wasn't good this season. A-Rod's having a great season.
Oh, you've been hating on that poor guy.
I do hate him.
All
He's
year.
garbage.
There you go. Easy's with me. But let's wrap this up. Go for Gomez, people.
That's it.
Management. Back off Upton.
Brings excitement.
So which one will the Pirates say they tried to get and then
Yeah.
Nah, they're
not
not
get
gonna-
and then try to lie to their fans?
We made a backdoor deal for Upton, but it fell through. Yeah, right. Freak out of here, Huntington.
Well, listen, I don't want to hear that because last season, all around baseball, everyone said the Pirates had a better deal on the table for David Price. But remember, David Price got dealt in that horrible deal to the
Tigers.
Yeah, the Tigers gave up Drew Smiley and some, I forget who. It was a decent shortstop, nothing great, but the Pirates had more on the table for him. And the Rays just wanted to go with players that were closer to producing in the big leagues, whereas the Pirates were offering prospects that were a little bit farther away. But everyone was saying the Pirates offered more in that deal and they should have taken that instead. So they could have had David Price last season, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you, man.
Okay.
All right, we're wrapping this up. Thank you guys for coming in studio. Thank you, fans, for listening. Fans, you could follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. Check out our Facebook page at Bet the Spread. Check out our YouTube page. Subscribe to that. Check out our website at thespreadnews.simplesite.com. Just Google The Spread and any one of our names, and it'll all pop up.